Throughout history, there have been rulers that we know and rulers that operate in the shadows. The black nobility is a hidden power structure that most people have never heard of. But why? I personally only heard of black nobility 8 years after I had started studying the nature of reality. It's very interesting. The black nobility is composed of major families that have been behind Vatican power, Jesuit power. I also want to let you know right off the bat that the black nobility isn't the end all be all when it comes to the hidden hand controlling the dark world. And I say dark world because they don't control the entirety of what the world is. They control the dark world. They are working to tiptoe humanity into basically total control, right? But there's something even behind them that I don't get into in this presentation, and I will be getting into in future videos. Stay tuned for that. So without further ado, enjoy. The black nobility, the hidden bloodlines controlling the world. Let's get right into it. There's a reason the most powerful families in the world aren't the ones you hear about. While the media feeds us billionaire frontmen like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and Gates, the real power is far older, deeper, and far more untouchable. These are the bloodlines that remain in the shadows. They don't seek the spotlight. They don't care about the spotlight because they are controlling the narratives. They are controlling the banks. They are they are behind the curtain, ultimately. They are behind a lot of secret societies, and I'm going to get into this. They operate in the shadows, above governments, above corporations, above even the banking elite. They are the black nobility, and once you understand their roots, you will never see history the same again. So let's get into the origins of the black nobility. To understand who they are, we have to go back to Venice in the Middle Ages. Venice wasn't just a city, it was a financial empire. The ruling families of Venice, merchant oligarchs who controlled trade, finance, and politics, formed the foundation of what we now call the black nobility. They were different from traditional monarchs because they didn't rule through thrones and crowns alone. They ruled through banking, intelligence, and influence. The Venetian oligarchs controlled trade routes and banking long before the rise of centralized banks. Their power came from alliances with the papacy, European royal houses, and later secret societies. Unlike monarchies, these families didn't rise and fall with empires. They adapted, shifting their influence across nations, wars, and economic systems. So these are the key bloodlines to know. The House of Orsini, one of the oldest, most powerful families with deep ties to the Vatican. Very corrupt house here. All of these families are corrupt in their own way, obviously. The second is the House of Contarini. And I may not be pronouncing these right, but you get the gist. I'm going to have a text on the screen so you can see it yourself. The House of Contarini controlled Venice's political system and banking empire. The House of Farnese, so third, instrumental in shaping the Catholic Church's power structure. The House of Medici, financial architects of the Renaissance, closely tied to modern banking. And then the fifth house is the House of Polifacini. This house is made up of key players in global intelligence networks. These families didn't disappear. They simply moved into the shadows. So, what is their modern influence? Who do they control? While the black nobility doesn't seek public recognition, their power structures still exist, hidden in plain sight. Today, their influence stretches across three major areas: finance, politics, and secret societies. So, the finance realm, the masters of money. The Venetian oligarchs pioneered modern banking, creating models that would later become central banks. Their descendants had a hand in shaping institutions like the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, and the IMF, tools of financial enslavement. Switzerland, home of the BIS, or Bank of International Settlements, is a black nobility stronghold where international banking elites operate above national laws. So then the political realm, the hidden hands behind governments. These bloodlines have been advisors and financiers to kings, popes, and politicians for centuries. They engineer global conflicts to consolidate power. You hear that? Let me repeat that. They engineer global conflicts to consolidate power. Wars, revolutions, and economic crashes don't just happen. They are orchestrated. Many of the world's leading intelligence agencies like CIA, MI6, Mossad serve as enforcers of their hidden agenda. And then let's get into the secret societies that they're behind, the networks that keep it all in place. The Jesuits, often referred to as the Black Pope's Army, deeply tied to black nobility families. Freemasonry, of course. The lower levels serve as a recruitment ground, while the higher degrees connect to the hidden elites. And then the Knights of Malta, a secretive Vatican-linked order with direct ties to intelligence and banking. These families don't just influence governments, they literally own them. They control them, they own them, they are them. So who controls the black nobility? Who is the power behind the power? If the black nobility runs the financial and political world, then who runs them? These families aren't puppets, but they do answer to something deeper, something much older. So the Vatican and Papal bloodlines, the Jesuits and the Papal network maintain control over spiritual and economic structures. Then there's the Babylonian priesthood legacy. Some researchers trace their lineage back to ancient Venetian merchant kings, the very foundation of the mystery schools and banking systems we see today. Then there's occult power structures that are behind the black nobility. And this is made up of hidden priest classes, secret orders, and ritualistic connections between ruling families and esoteric knowledge. We're talking about something more than just money and politics. A lot of people think that it's all about money. These people don't give a shit about money. They control money. They control the banks. They own the banks. They print the money. This is about control over consciousness itself. It's about control over the spirit of humanity. So what is the black nobility's influence today? It is the society that humanity lives under now. The system you see, the governments, corporations, banking elites, and secret societies are just the visible layers of a much older power structure. The wars, financial collapses, the engineered crises, they aren't just random. They're moves on a chessboard played by families that have never lost control. So this is how it manifests today. The central banking system, it keeps nations in debt, maintaining economic slavery. The United Nations and NGOs serve as global governance tools influenced by these old families. And then there's the corporate elite. Billionaires like Gates, Bezos, and Musk are frontmen, not the true architects of power. And then, of course, the most powerful, the media and Hollywood. Controlled narratives designed to keep people blind from their own power and who the real rulers are, even though they're always putting it in your face. So this is just the beginning. All of this is just the beginning. The black nobility isn't some relic of the past. It's a living power structure that still dictates the world today. But one of the biggest things is they're in the shadows for a reason. They're in the dark for a reason. They don't want to be seen. They don't want to be exposed. So they don't like that this is happening. They don't like that they're being found out. They want you distracted, divided, and chasing surface level corruption. Because once you truly see the invisible hands at work, the whole illusion starts to crack. The real question is, now that you know this, now that you are armed with this knowledge, what are you going to do with it? So that was sort of a quick synopsis of what the black nobility is, where they came from, and how they influence things today. I will be getting into a much larger video, getting very, very deep into the nitty-gritty. And if you want me to go even deeper into specific families, secret societies, or their modern influence, drop a comment below. If you want to understand how to break free from their influence, let me know, and I'll make that video next. Although I'm making videos like this all the time, if you want anything specific, just let me know in the comments below. If you like what I do, if you like my videos, please like and subscribe. Feel free to leave me a donation in one of the links below. I seriously appreciate it. It's what keeps this thing going. It keeps the lights on and keeps me being able to sit at my desk, study, and push out content. So thank you. Go to my Patreon where all my writing is. I appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.